We're back with Speaker Gingrich. Let me ask you, you've seen the debates and you've seen the ads. Do you feel that you've got a fair impression of who Newt Gingrich is and what he believes in? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Who says no?
No.
In the back row. Tell me why no.
Well, there's also a lot of information that is not being given. They're taking the part that helps them and hurts you, and they're not giving us the total truth, and that's what we need to make our decision.
What I'd like to do is show the viewers at home an ad that you reacted to a few minutes ago, and it's one of the most favorable ads of them all. And it's a positive ad from your campaign. Let's take a look.
If you hear that high unemployment is our new normal, just say baloney. We can create millions of jobs right now. My plan includes repealing laws that raise taxes and strangle business, cutting taxes so America is once again the best place to invest and create jobs, and unleashing the power of our energy industry. That's just a start. Working together, we can rebuild the America we love and get people working again. I'm Newt Gingrich, and I approve this message.
What's your reaction to that ad?
Very good. It's very good.
It's honest.
So then I have to ask you, in this give and take, they don't like this back and forth between you and Mitt Romney. So is there any way to wage the campaign without that kind of back and forth?
Sure. I did that up till December 15th. I was ahead by 15 points according to Gallup, and I got $3.5 million of negative ads in Iowa. And I, to be candid, I don't know how to respond. I mean, when you get drowned in mud, what happens is you lose. I got 14, I lost 22 points in Iowa by the sheer weight of the attack ads. I mean, I think the whole system, frankly, is pretty sick.
Do you guys agree with that?
Yes.
Would you end super PACs?
Yes.
Would you make the candidates take total responsibility for the ads on the internet?
Yes.
What do you want to ask them?
I have a question concerning energy, if you don't mind. You know, President Obama, as you know, said no to the Keystone Pipeline, and our gas prices are going up. So what kind of energy policy would you have in a Gingrich administration?
I would have an extraordinarily bold American energy plan designed to get us totally off of Venezuelan, Saudi Arabian, Iraqi, Iranian oil. My goal would be to say that no American president will ever again bow to a Saudi king, and that we frankly want to
like that.
We do like that.
and that we want to produce so much energy that we can actually be the world's reservoir if something happens in the Straits of Hormuz. I mean, we are just literally irrational in the risk we are running right now in this administration. And Obama's view of the world, in my judgment, is literally out of touch with reality on an extraordinary level.
Does this include nuclear?
Of course. I think safe nuclear power, there are a new generation of much safer nuclear power plants. It includes offshore in appropriate places. There's a rule for Florida that it would be fairly far offshore. There's no reason to change that for right now. But Obama won't even let them go into places that they want them to go into. So his policy is an anti-American energy policy which kills jobs, weakens national security, and drives up the price of gasoline.
Margaret.
What functions would you either eliminate or significantly downsize or push down to the state and local level in order to bring the government down to meet the revenues?
I would abolish the Department of Energy, which has failed totally since the mid-1970s.
Do you agree?
I would dramatically shrink the Department of Education, eliminate all federal regulations, return power back home. I would look seriously at combining the Department of Labor and the Department of Commerce so they would be one synthesized system designed to make American workers competitive in the world. I would fundamentally overhaul the State Department and have a requirement that it actually execute a foreign policy that is American and is based on the American presidency, not some culture of the Foreign Service which routinely undermines us. But I'd also, to be candid, although I'm very pro-military, I would apply Lean Six Sigma to the entire Defense Department. That's a management tool. The estimate is if we applied modern management to the federal government, we'd save $500 billion a year in the government and probably $2 trillion a year in the general economy because you'd have such a more efficient and effective government than we currently have. So I'd go through pretty intensely.
So I want rapid fire. What's holding you back from supporting him?
Nothing. I think he's very smooth. He's very articulate. He states his case exceptionally well.
I called on the wrong guy. Tim, what's holding you back?
The thing that's held me back, I think, more than anything else is I don't think you've had a proper representation of the breadth and depth of your political experience and your influence in our government for the last 30 years.
Paul, what's holding you back?
The perception that you are a political insider from D.C., and therefore you're part of the problem and not part of the solution.
One more, Robert.
One thing that really started to turn me off was the attack against Bain, and I'm getting confused. Sometimes I don't know if you're for free market making profit or if we're sounding like a socialist, to be honest.
Sure. And my position is I'm very much for free markets, but if somebody runs for president, it's also fair to question their judgment. And since he cites that as half of his resume, asking questions about his resume is not an attack on free markets, it's questioning him.
What else do you want to know? This is your shot. Go ahead.
Do you think we can actually reduce the deficit without raising taxes?
Yes. If you run a campaign this fall in which you build a team that goes in with a purposeful approach and you understand what you're doing, and this is the one thing I'd say about being an insider. I'm probably the most knowledgeable insider who's also the most defiantly an outsider in my values. And you need that because to try to make Washington work under our Constitution is a really hard problem. But my commitment to you would be no tax increase. I fought every major tax increase in 20 years of my career. We got to a balanced budget, and Ron Paul's technically right because of the unified budget. But in the terms of the unified budget, we did pay off $405 billion of debt. And so I think that it's very important to look at how do you control government. And if you notice what I said a while ago, if we're taking out waste, if we used American Express or Visa or MasterCard, we could save between $60 and $110 billion a year on fraud in Medicare and Medicaid. Huge numbers. So you do 20 things like that, no one of them matters. You do 20 of them, you're suddenly in a different world.
Are you going to win? You're going to win in Florida.
I have a real chance to win, and I have a hunch that after tonight's debate, the way the debate will spin out in the next 48 hours, I think I'll win.
Speaker Gingrich, thank you very much.
By the way, I will win if I get your votes. I just want you to know, if I can convince all of you to vote for me after you get done with Rick, who's a terrific guy, remember, I'm still available, and I'd love to have your vote.
But hold on. There's a rule. Never interrupt an audience when they're applauding.
Thank you all very much.
Coming up, Rick Santorum, Alan West, and the congressional team of Mary Bono and Connie Mack right after this break.